MovieWeb.com.
It is the last unexplored territory in the world.
Espiritu is Sala, the mother of all caves.
Trust me, you're gonna love this.
What could possibly go wrong diving in caves?
Some come for fame and fortune.
You're not gonna set any records without me.
Others to chase history.
Your old man is the most respected explorer in the world.
Because he's got nothing else.
He's a good kid, Frank.
You need to go easy on him.
Exactly what I don't need to do. This cave will kill you in a heartbeat.
But one mistake in Earth's inner sanctum.
My God, would you look at that?
And no one will ever know you were even here.
Listen. What the hell was that?
The breadth and the scope of the film is so magnificent. I mean, could that have been accomplished without the 3D? Can you talk about the importance of the 3D to the story? And then, Jim, with your experience, how he was helpful with that?
Look, I think the story's great anyway. So even in 2D, I think it would have been a fantastic thing to shoot and a great story to tell. The thing about 3D is that it really brings the audience into the story. It makes it immersive and visceral, you know, so that our kind of roller coaster ride has that much more kind of punch.
I don't think a movie should be made because it would be good in 3D. You know, that's like saying a movie should be made because it would be good in color. You know, and we're sort of evolving to that place where 3D is just part of our vocabulary. Having said that, caves and underwater and 3D go together beautifully.
Yeah.
Because the irony of 3D that most people don't think about is it's not about the vast vistas outdoors. It's about the claustrophobic environments, and where you feel like you can reach out and touch the walls of the cave. That's what the 3D really brings home. So you feel like you're trapped in there with those people. So you are going through their experience with them.
$50 says I'll reach the bottom before you.
Oh, you are so about to get spanked. Woo! Woo!
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, amazing.
Son of a bitch.
And then you and your character in the film is sort of the antagonist, but it's so three-dimensional. Could you talk about how you were able to sort of make that character human to the audience?
Yes, I mean, that's one's duty as an actor. You have to love your character, even though he might be the antagonist or the guy that everybody sort of hates in the story. And I loved playing Carl because it was an opportunity for me to play the bolshy, overconfident, arrogant character. And he had a real arc, he had a real transition from going from that person to a very weak, snivelling, sort of backstabbing character, and very cowardly towards the end of the movie. So it was a wonderful arc, and I'm thrilled that you thought that the character was a three-dimensional character, because if we don't believe these characters are in this situation, then the movie doesn't work. And I think the beauty of it is we've got the marriage of real people that we can relate to, and the incredible sort of 3D element of us being immersed in the cave. And I think it's a match made in heaven.
So there's a scene in the film where your character has to cut her hair. She's in a difficult situation, has to cut her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Did you consider cutting your arm, that maybe you get nominated for an Oscar and get to host the Oscars this year if you actually cut your arm off?
Well, in retrospect, that would have been the best way to play it, yeah? But I don't know whether I had that much of a choice. In actual fact, the technicality of the move was that one of my hands was actually breaking myself with the rope. So I only had one hand to do whatever I wanted to do, whether it be cut off an arm or a piece of hair. But you know, the actual kind of logic of rock climbing means that, you know, if you're stopping yourself in midair on a rope, you actually have to break yourself with your other arm behind you. So, and I remember the first time I saw it, because I'm fairly new to rock climbing, I remember going, why doesn't she just get her other arm and just, you know, sort it out? But of course there's that technical realism there that we have to go with. So yeah, but of course I should have cut off the arm. What was I thinking?
Well, we're not climbing out of here.
Now that's something you don't see every day.
A tank? A bloody tank?
Japanese. They're all over this place during the war. Amphibious. We must be pretty near the coast.
The cave must have collapsed underneath them. Do you think anyone survived?
Doesn't look like it.
Play father and son in the movie, and your characters have, you know, sort of a difficult relationship in the beginning, but really go on this beautiful journey together. Can you talk a little bit about what they sort of discover in each other through this film?
I mean, I guess I think that the best part of such a heart to this story, to this film, is this father-son relationship, and being forced to overcome this disjointed relationship that exists is such an interesting thing. This catalyst, this cave that's flooding, and it becomes survival. And yeah, I mean, developing that as actors was a really enjoyable and interesting part of the shoot.
The people who do this type of thing are a very particular type of individual, I've discovered along the way. There is a kind of very tough, almost militaristic bearing to these people, and they're explorers in a sense, in the old school, like, you know, Scott or Amundsen or Edmund Hillary. You know, there's that part of them as well. So they're really tough, and a part of the job as well was to not, I suppose, take the edges off that, to not sentimentalize it or soften it. And so it's a story, you know, that's told through that prism as well.
Hey, you got a bit of a leak. Let me take a look.
What do you mean? Where?
Christ! Hold still!
Go to the bail out, Frank!
Hold still! I've got you. I've got you.
Frank, my bail out!
Stay with me. Let me take a look.
Get me to the air belt, Frank! Get me to the air belt!
Juice is too far. We'll never make it. You'll get bent.
Come on, Frank! Come on, Frank! Get me to the air belt!
Juice is too far.
She's got no bailout.
Bloody!
Stay calm. We're gonna buddy breathe. We're gonna buddy breathe, all right? Mask off.
I understand that actors can sometimes be difficult to direct
Never.
with water. No, especially underwater. And that you have had a lot of experience directing actors
it's great
in water.
underwater because the director has the voice communication and the actors can't talk back.
Yeah.
You know? So they can't like stop the whole thing to ask you about their motivation.
And then the key to working in dangerous environments with actors is you never tell them how dangerous it is.
That's the secret.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if they know, then they'll call their agent or call someone to get it out of the
They won't come out of the caravan.
Yeah.
Well, they were actually a blank slate. I mean, they you know, the production taught them to rope and climb, abseil, do the scuba, and then go way beyond scuba into rebreathers. Rebreathers are very, very technical type of diving. You know, even most divers don't know how to dive on rebreathers. And I think it's really more the actors didn't have a reference point to know how radical what they were doing was. Everything was done safely, and they really, because actors love preparation, you know, they learned to do it properly, but I don't think they realized how radical, how far down the path of professionalism they had really gone. Wow. It was like teaching them to do brain surgery, and it's just like, oh, my character does brain surgery, so I should be able to do it.
And they all seem very, you know, skilled in it in the film. Was it difficult to get them to that level?
Look, we had some great people involved training. John Garvin, who wrote the screenplay with Andrew, was a master diver, and he became our dive master and taught all the actors and taught me to dive as well. So, you know, you have great people working in those environments is the key to kind of shooting something like this.
Terrific.
I think that had a lot to do with it because the actors knew they were talking to one of the screenwriters who was also teaching them how to dive. So they always related the knowledge that they were receiving to their characters, which I think that makes sense in an actor's world.
The training was very arduous. Pre-production, I mean, I was in the pool for 2 hours a day just doing swim training and getting my lung capacity up, so breath holds, and we had to learn to scuba dive and use rebreathers and rock climbing and ropes training. So it was all very, very intense. But I found some of the underwater stuff meditative, or it's really just crisis control, because in one instance it could turn very sour very fast, and then in the other it's kind of calming. But
there was always a voice in your head saying this could go either way. Certainly with some of the things that we had to do, you had to master it inside your own self. You had to kind of get on top of your own fears and demons about a particular moment.
That's the beauty of this movie, that we're representing characters that actually went through this horrible ordeal. This is based on a true story, and Andrew Wight and John Garvin are cave divers in their own right, so we had source material there to guide us through the process of learning this very difficult technique of using the rebreathers underwater, under the earth in these caves. So it was a beautiful marriage then of our imaginations as actors and having guys who knew exactly what they were doing to help us with all the technicalities to really flesh out these characters.
Give me a hand. We will find a way out.
We're running out of time.
You'll kill all of us.
Never give up. No matter what happens, you never, ever give up. Sanctum.